the third key point. Okay, Annette Butler, a 16-year-old high school student, was in bed with her mother when she heard someone pounding on the front door. Ernest Dillon introduced himself as a policeman. "You're under arrest," he said to the girl, "for sacking up with your boyfriend." When her mother objected, Dillon raised a shotgun, grabbed the teenager, and pulled her aside. The four white men drove Butler deep into the Boggy Cheeto swamp, where they took turns raping her. Owen Duncan threatened to cut her neck off if she resisted. On April 5, 1957, Judge Brady sentenced Ernest Dillon to 20 years hard labor. Brady castigated Dillon for bringing bitter condemnation upon his community and state and the entire South for attacking Annette Butler. His actions, Judge Brady told Dillon, will bring further vitriolic attacks on our region from those who hate the South. The knowledge that black women are not safe anywhere, including even in their own home, is troubling. What do you think was different about this case compared to the other ones we have read of black women being raped? Are you surprised at the judge's 20-year hard labor sentence he gave to Dillon?
What was different?
He got sentenced. That was different. That's about it.
No, I mean, but what about, like, this isn't the first time a black woman has been gang raped by a white man in the
absolutely not
in the state where they say where states where people have problems with interracial anything. So the rapings have been going on for a long time up until this point, but there was something about this case that had this judge decide, even though he was a white supremacist racist, decide that he was going to give Ernest Dillon 20 years. So I don't know. My question was,
I think it goes to you know what I was saying earlier, that she is McGuire is looking at how white people's fears around integration that results from sex between black and white people, you know, how they were reacting to their fears around that. So in this case, the judge was basically throwing this boy out of the white community because he was saying, you know, you are, you know, you're not going along with the program. You're around here raping black women. You know, basically somebody's going to get pregnant, and now we have a problem. So he gave him a good rap on the hand there because he wanted to reinforce the message for other white men that, you know, if you're going to be a white man, you're going to need to keep your dick in your pants when you see a black woman. So
I'm gonna take it both two ways, Michelle. That's a very good point. You know that you bring up. I'm reminded of Strom Thurmond, who was a senator. Right. You know, big public segregationist congressman from South Carolina. Served I don't know how many decades in Congress. Right, too many. Now we learned publicly anyway, you know, late in his career that he impregnated a black woman who was a domestic at his family's house. Yeah. Okay. And
I forgot about that. Yeah.
no.
They had a daughter, and you know he had financed, you know, the maintenance of this black woman as well as her daughter. And I think that's when the daughter I think got into college or something like that is when the story got out publicly. You know, it might have been known locally, but it was hushed, you know, for 40 years or so. So, you know, here's a man, you know, talking about miscegenation and, you know, that kind of thing. you know, against the mixing of the races and so on and so forth. And there he was, you know, doing that. So that ties into, you know, that piece, you know, that you're saying the judge's position was, you know, look, if white men are so against, you know, the mixing of the races, then you have to learn to, you know, keep your stuff in your pants.
Right.
The other piece of it that comes to mind is that perhaps the judge was thinking, look, we have an image to uphold, and you know, the eyes of the country and the eyes of the world are looking at us, because again, remember in the time period, and you know, we can't appear a certain way and still maintain, you know, the separation of the races, or still maintain, you know, our racist goals. So I think this was a time when white folks, individually and collectively, especially in positions of power, began to get smart, get slick, and find new ways of oppressing black folks, found new ways of keeping black folks out that would pass the scrutiny of the public, you know, would pass the indignation of the nation, and perhaps even more significantly of the international community. One of the reasons why, perhaps the main reason why bus integration took place was because the stories of white resistance reached all the way to Moscow. And the United States was trying to appear to be the leader of freedom throughout the world, and so Russia's leadership was able to use the fact of the mistreatment of black folks against white folks' authority, you know, white Americans' authority, to say that they were the leaders of the free world. So it was a matter of public, what do you call it? PR, public relations, that put pressure on these white folks over here in positions of authority and decision making to then begin to find other ways in which to pretend to include us. At the same time, you know, doing a reverse act and becoming more entrenched in their goal to remain a segregated nation.
Yeah. Randy?
Does anyone else have anything to say to question 3?
It was strictly a political move. Had nothing to do about anything. Judge Brady could give a damn, excuse expression, about Dillon or anybody else. It was a political move. They could care less about the victim. They did us no favor. You know, mind you, it was only Dillon. There were 3 or 4 of them that actually committed that crime. And the other ones were found guilty on lesser charges because the only other punishment was either imprisonment or death or one or the other. So it was all political. Because the other ones were actually slapped on the wrist and acquitted, and because we raised hell, it made them not look too good, because they wanted to make everyone else think that, oh, you know, we're trying to do the best we can to integrate, you know, the rest of our country, and more as the rest of our world. They want, but it had nothing to do with anything. It was all political, absolutely, positively political, as everything is now. You know, once again, we had an incident in Massachusetts. I'll make this very quick. About 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, a prominent doctor in a prominent neighborhood in Massachusetts decided, for whatever reason, he wanted to, and so they claimed that they had some marital issues and things like that, stabbed his pregnant wife to death, stabbed her to death. This is a prominent doctor in Massachusetts. They went through every black neighborhood in Massachusetts and randomly gathered black men that he said a black man had done right here down the street about 15 years ago. No big
deal. I remember that.
You remember that?
Yes,
however, come to find out, make a long story short, his brother actually figured out that he had been the one who committed the murder because he gave his brother his wife's big fat diamond and told him to hold it. The brother like, hold this for what? Brother went to police, turned him in. He ended up committing suicide because they're cowards. Okay? And I was really mad about that. You don't be jumping off no bridge. That made me mad. He decided to go out there and jump off the bridge and kill himself. Make long and short of the story is, if they said it was a white man, would they have gone through all the white neighborhoods of Massachusetts and start gathering up all the white folks, putting them back in paddy wagons? But they actually did that. And they actually held a black man and was ready to charge, actually had charged him with first-degree murder. Just a random black man, because they said we all look alike. So he described some black man, where a lot of black men may be 5'10", most of them got brown hair or black hair with brown eyes. This happened in Massachusetts.
I don't remember that.
Nothing has changed. And it's all political. Nothing has changed. Absolutely, positively not.
You're right.
I mean, it's just sad. It's just so, and I hate to get emotional about it, but it just goes on forever. And nothing has changed. So how black folks never thought they arrived where? Cemetery?
To the next plantation.
It's. But anyway, next, Randy.